welcome back, you guys. We are going to learn a useful skill that many know, but also many don't know how to do it. So we are going to land on the beginner side of this skill with Jennifer from Raybon Sew and Quilt Shop, and she's going to teach us the beginners. So good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so yeah, I am very much a beginner.
Okay.
And I land on that side.
Okay.
So first, let's start out with how to sew.
Sure. So we do a lot of different classes at Raybon, really for people who have maybe never touched a machine before. I know we had one gal in one of our classes. She came in and we started out talking about, well, you know, have you ever sewn before? You know, what's your skill? And she touches the machine and she goes, that's the first time I touched a sewing machine. Oh, okay. So we really start at super basic. So if you have never touched a sewing machine before, but you're thinking it might be something you want to learn, our Learn to Sew class is a great one to start with. Okay. With that one, we do supply a machine for you to use in class. So you get to test out the Baby Lock Brilliant and see all the different features available on that machine. And then we do 3 really easy basic projects that kind of build on each other. So we start with the pillowcase, so something useful that everybody needs in their house, but it's super straight stitching, easy cutting, so it's a good starter project. Yeah. And then we build on that with a tote bag, so you're doing a lot more cutting, so you learn to use a rotary cutter, mat, ruler, all of that to get nice precise cuts. And some different features on the sewing machine we'll use on that. And then the last week we tackle everybody's biggest fear, the zipper. So I know a lot of new sewers are scared by how do you install the zipper, what do you do? So we put together a little zippered pouch. So all really useful projects too that hopefully you'll love sewing, but if you don't, you still go home with 3 great projects that you'll be able to use. Yeah,
lovely. Yeah. Okay, so let's do a little deep dive here. So I've actually never touched a sewing machine either. Yep. So let's start off with like some of the features on the sewing machine and how you really start off with, let's start with the pillowcase because kind of straight edges, we're going with a single stitch there. So let's start off with that.
So you're using straight stitch on the machine. So we'll talk about a big thing in sewing is figuring out your seams. So 1/4 inch seam, 1/2 inch seam, what are you using? And so we'll talk about how to adjust your needle position on there to get those different seams. We've got 3, I think, good ways that I have people test out of different ways to get a 1/4 inch because I like to use the edge of the presser foot. You might find you'd rather use what we call a sewing edge, which is like a purple sticker that's a thick thing you can put on your machine. You may find that's your easiest way to get a straight stitch. So you'll play with some different ways of doing that 1/4 inch so that you find a way that works well for you. Yeah. And I think that's the really nice thing about taking classes at our quilt shop or any quilt shop is everybody that works at Raybon, we sew and quilt. So when you come into the store, you're getting expert advice from people who are doing that every day. So you're really knowing, you know, what are the good tools that will be quality tools for you that you purchase now and you'll use for years to come on your projects.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So using one of your guys' sewing machines, what makes it easier?
So easier, when you buy from a dealer, you're getting a better quality machine. So you're going to get a great quality machine that will last a long time. We include, you know, this is a class that you're learning how to sew, but we also, when you purchase a machine from us, you're getting a free new owner's class. So we sit down with you and really go over all the functions of the machine. So when you go home, you know how it works and you're ready to run with that. So yeah, and then, you know, once you're more comfortable with that, then you kind of move up. We also offer a beginning quilting class. Oh, perfect. And I know a lot of times when people hear quilting, they think, oh, I've got to make a big quilt for my bed. Yeah. That's not all quilting is. Like what you're doing in the class is a small little table topper like this. Quilting can be making table runners. It can be making purses, travel bags, like there's decorative pillows. There's so many things you could do that are quilting that we've got lots of quilters who come in the shop. They don't make big bed quilts. They make smaller, you know, manageable projects, but it's all the same skills of quilting.
Yeah, okay, so I actually didn't know that. So that's so cool. So is quilting like in this little bag here?
Yeah, so this is kind of our beginner project, beginner quilting, because it's square shapes, straight lines, all of that. And then you move up. Now we've started a new intermediate quilting. So those are for people who are already comfortable with the basic skills of quilting, and now they want to do some more advanced things. Okay. So we've taken some super common quilt blocks. This one is called a half square triangle. So if you look, the little square right there, it's 2 triangles put together. Oh yeah, hopefully that's a super common quilt block, and it might even be more obvious on like this guy here. Oh, that's a half square triangle. So if you look at any quilt patterns, so many of them have that. Yeah. And it looks really easy, but it can be difficult to get that angle perfect, keep all of your points. So in these classes, we're talking about different common quilt blocks and how you can really get them perfection, because that's always the goal in quilting, is to get really nice, straight, precise points and lines and all of that. So, but we thought, rather than just doing, you know, another tabletop, or, you know, let's do some other skills in that. So in this class, you're learning that half square triangle, but then you're also learning, you're making a tote bag, you're doing a nice quilted handle, you're doing a little pocket on the inside. So we're doing some kind of extra skills that you're learning that you'll be able to continue to use on your sewing journey.
Yeah, lovely. So what makes this handle quilted?
So quilting is when you take like a backing fabric, a batting, and then a top, put those together and do stitching. That's called quilting. Okay. So in this one, I've just done nice straight lines, but quilting always gives things a fun texture. So this just makes it feel a little bulkier, or have a little more structure to it with all the quilting in it.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that, especially just even touching this, it just seems like a very thicker fabric kind of thing. I really like that. Okay, so what is the hardest part? Let's start with the sewing. What's the hardest part of the sewing where people are kind of thrown off and they need to like really kind of talk it through, especially in the beginners?
Right. I think it depends on the sewer. Like some people find the cutting challenging, and working with just getting, the goal of rotary cutting is always to do a nice smooth cut, and you'll see beginners sometimes are, you know, they're cutting towards themselves, which is kind of a recipe for disaster, or they're kind of grating at things, and so you don't get nice smooth cuts. So that can be a challenge. And then I think just maintaining straight stitches and getting nice seams. And so that's where some of those gadgets like the seam edge or a foot with a 1/4 inch guide on it can really help you get nice straight seams.
All right, lovely. Yeah, okay. I love all of this. This has been really fun learning, because like I said, I'm super beginner. So what makes sewing and quilting a useful skill?
So I think useful because you can make things that you need. I mean, I carry a tote bag to work every day with my things in it. So, and of course, they're always ones I've made. So that's really useful. And then I think the biggest thing for me in quilting and sewing is that I'm making things that are just the way I want them. Yeah. So I'm picking out my fabrics, my patterns to personalize my home. And so I'm really creating things that are just for me. And so that's one of the big things in our classes too, is we don't pick out the fabric for you. You pick them out, because I love teal. Almost everything I make has teal. My mom, not as much a teal fan. She loves red. So I mean, that's the joy of everything you do can be what colors you like and what suits your home.
Yeah, I love that. It's kind of like fashion in a way, but it's just like you get to personalize everything that you want. I absolutely love that. And like the patterns are so pretty. I don't know if you guys saw inside of here. Lots of different patterns here. Oh my goodness. So pretty. Okay, so how is Raybon Sew and Quilt Shop different from other sewing supply shops in town?
So I think really just the idea, like I said, we all have experience. So when you come in, we know how to sew. You know, if that means helping you figure out how much fabric you need for the back of your quilt, we can do that. If that means, you know, you have this one fabric and you have no idea what to put with it, we'll help you match and figure that out. Yeah. Or you're looking, maybe your rotary cutter really isn't working great for you, or you've got some pain in your wrist and you're looking, what's a better tool for me? We've got some great rotary cutters that are ergonomically designed and weighted, so you'll have a better experience. And that's really, I think, one of the nice things about sewing is you really want the right tools, because then it's going to be easier and more fun. And so that's one thing that we really focus on too, is having the right tools and helping you find what are the right tools for your project.
Yeah, I love that. It sounds very personalized. Like the right tools for the different individual sewer and a quilter. So that's so fun. Where can people go to find more information? So
we'd love you to stop in our shop at 3060 25th Street. You can also check out our website at ray-bond.com, where we've got all of our class schedules that you can check out what's going on. In addition to the beginner classes, we do lots of project-based classes as well. So hop on and check it out.
All right, fun. You guys, I'm so motivated to just create something right now. I feel my creative juices flowing. But we have lots more coming up on today's show, so stick around.